Track reviews.
Hey everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. Hope you're doing well. And it is time for a track review. Now, if you guys have been following, one of the biggest stories in hip-hop is that Young Thug has had a new project on the way. Although that is not a story in and of itself because he's pretty prolific. He's always got something coming out around the corner. But on this forthcoming project, this On the Run EP, he had some notable features. It is out now, and Black is on here, Jaden Smith is on here, but the name that turned the most heads was that Elton John was going to be collaborating with Young Thug on a track. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see what one of the most unique voices in hip-hop today, combined with one of the biggest legends in pop music ever, have to offer when they team up. I mean, Elton John has always been pretty ahead of the curve, and it seems like lately he's been doing his best to stay plugged into everything that's going on in this new zeitgeist and this newest wave of music and everything. So I don't know, let's just see how it plays out. If the collaboration is deep, if it's substantive, or if Elton is merely just a random feature on your average Thugger track. I don't know. You know, let's give it a shot. Let's see. Let's see what Thugger has to offer on this one. Hi, with Elton John. Ba-bam. Okay. Young Thug, Elton John. Hi. I'm slightly disappointed, but not in the song itself. There was a lot of buzz around this track, and it seemed like as it was being promoted and we were seeing stories about Thugger and Elton John talking and meeting, and as the anticipation for this track was really being built up, I guess it was just being sold in a way as being a little bit more than what it actually is. There has been for over a year now talk of a Thugger Elton John Rocket Man remix. And while I did anticipate that this track may in fact be that, I thought that given all of the extra press and the fact that they had connected would kind of lead to this being a little bit more than what it actually is, collaboratively speaking. That being said, though, I actually think as is, I mean, if we're just talking about Thugger doing a remix here, or, you know, his own original song with heavy uses of samples from Elton John's Rocket Man, where he's just kind of vocally soaring over the echoing, ghostly lead vocals of Elton John with some pretty rich piano chords hanging in the background. If that's what we're talking about, this track isn't bad. It's actually super enjoyable. It's one of Thugger's prettier songs. It's easily the best and prettiest track on the entire record, best in terms of structure, best in terms of clear direction lyrically and vocally, best in terms of just a very, again, I'll say rich and harmonious and gorgeous little instrumental, best in terms of creative sampling as well, because while, sure, a lot of the song's appeal, I think, is based on these Rocket Man samples, I think the way that they're employed is pretty sweet. It's not just, you know, a simple chunk of the song being pulled out. It's, you know, extra instrumentation being added in. There are, you know, effects laid onto Elton's voice to make it sound very eerie and atmospheric, and to sort of give a somewhat ambient and very vast vibe to the entire track. Can't say I'm all that crazy about a lot of the other material that has landed on this EP, but this song is certainly a standout, and I guess I could say it's totally been worth the wait. Again, considering how long the talks of this song being released have been. Again, given the talk before, was hoping that the collaboration here would actually be a collaboration as opposed to just a sample on the song. But still, it's a pretty track. It's gorgeous. I love Thugger's vocal performance on this one. It's certainly a reminder of the fact that he can go subtle, he can go, I guess, sensual or pretty with his voice when he wants to, as opposed to just spitting out these really weird, almost avant-garde, squeaky kind of vocalizations that almost no other rapper in his field is doing or can do as well and as distinctly as he does. Just like in the way he performs over this instrumental, thought it was a pretty instrumental, and thought the way the samples were applied were pretty sweet. So not really any complaints about it other than that. I guess it's a little short, and maybe it's not as epic or as grand as it could have been, but still a great track for Thugger, and hoping to hear more songs with this amount of melody, this amount of focus, this amount of clarity from him in the future. Again, given that some of the other material on this EP from him is pretty standard for Thugger these days, I'm not exactly sure if that's going to happen, or if, again, given how old this song most likely is, if this track is going to be indicative of any kind of sea change at all. But still, digging the direction the song is going in, digging the sound, digging a lot of things about it. So let me know down in the comments if you're as nuts about it as I am, I guess. And if you've dug on this new Thugger EP as well. So over here next to my head is another video for you to check out. Hit that up, or the link to subscribe to the channel. Thugger, Elton John, forever.